Okay. Um, this discussion is mainly about, well, it is about a cosmic televised topology, and I'll show you how I arrive at the concept. But these are the parts covered, which has been covered in previous videos. Televisual portals, invisible horizons, realities within realities. That's a new one that I'm making, and making space disappear. That's the shortened version of their titles. These concepts that lead to a cosmic televised topology. So, for the televisual portals, which are something that can happen within our lifetime, I believe, sooner than we think, there's the mirror worlds that I covered, where they have an infinite recursion. One portal requires another to complete the infinite circuit between these mirror worlds. And I believe that it's similar to when, I think his name was Elijah Farnsworth, the inventor of the television. He didn't have his own studio or camera, so he had to tune into the RCA, who independently, but he invented it first, who independently laid claim to the television. So, the television, all a portal is an invisible, fully realized television, and it televises itself between each other to create the infinite recursive mirror worlds of the real and virtual realities. Invisible horizons, a solution to the ghost interfacing paradox, frozen in place. This is one portal, this is the other. Bob's portal, Alice's portal. These mirror worlds, or they're frozen in place. They're undetected when they're completely outside of reality. They can't move, therefore they can't intersect each other. They can't interface to each other like ghosts. So that doesn't even come up. From undetectable to detected, a portal requires at least one other corresponding portal. The mirror world effect, like I said, begs the existence of a complete infinite circuit. There is an invisible horizon crossed between the undetected and the detected, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. A multiverse, imaginary, invisible horizon, and frozen in place artificial motion. Well, all this stuff, what this means is that if this is a multiverse, and these are small universes inside, they go up to the invisible boundary. That's how they move. They're frozen in place, but they have extra degrees of freedom on the horizon. And this horizon is artificial. Because anything created in the virtual portal is going to be artificial. So it's an artificial motion. And it's an invisible imaginary horizon for the multiverse, which I believe there's no difference between real and artificial. An ideal real or a real and an ideal artificial. Then the symbiotic homeostasis of a reality within a reality pops up. I claim there's indifference between level 1 and level 2 multiverse. The level 1 infinite space multiverse, where matter is replicated again and again infinitely to create our reality, and an ideal virtual reality of one of these possible realms of reality are the same thing. And not in our world, in our space, on our earth. This is the Hugh Everett many worlds multiverse. It's every possibility, which is the same as they're the same thing. If you have an ideal beyond our realm, out in infinite space multiverse, they're the same. You exist here and you exist out there too. You exist infinitely in any possible place where you might be replicated at your reality and making space disappear, reappear elsewhere. You don't make an object disappear, you make the space it rests in disappear. An intersection of a visual reality is inverse to the reality outside of the intersection. The space that disappears reappears within the intersection, two separate realities. And I believe that the mirror worlds of the televised televisual portal and the cosmic portal all become one. In a sense, the mirror worlds were already one. That's how they're felt by the observer inside each basic holodeck. But they all somehow, the mirror worlds come together to create one, physically one intersection reality and one exterior reality. And this shows the inverse relation between an invisible state. Whenever the space becomes invisible, it reappears inside, because invisibility is a event seen coming out from the intersection. Where a holodeck or a holographic virtual reality, it's all the light visual information coming towards the observer within the intersection. So that's how they're inverse to each other. And these mirror worlds, when they come together, create the hologram displays that appear to float off the walls, except in a cosmic portal with some sort of Cosmic-Televised topology, some sort of topology that turns the mirror worlds into one world separate from the outside world. And they both, if they're ideal, one thing is that you'd never be able to turn it back off. If they're ideal, you won't have no voice command. It would be a real or any sort of other command over the interior virtual holodeck. You would be transported to one of these or an infinite number of these places, and you won't be able to make your way back unless in these artificial worlds you could build another portal and designate this reality once you know the quantum codes towards an invisible holographic principle of the multiverse. So then that goes back to that televised cosmic topology again. In an artificial world that you're already artificial in, how do you get back to the real world, which is still going to be an artificial world? You're never going to get back to the real world in this sense, but you'll get back to the artificial world, which in a sense, which I believe will bring you back to the real world. So there's an interplay between mirror worlds and real and artificial simulations, ideal simulations. So if you look at this one interface or one intersection of reality and the symbiotic homeostasis, they have to maintain each other's existence through some sort of mutual symbiotic homeostatic support, I guess, or whatever. A reality within a reality. That's a cosmic portal right there. Those are symbolic of other distant worlds. And the mirror worlds, the infinite recursion that turns them into just one reality at the intersection that has to do with some sort of possible televised cosmic topology for these to become a separate reality, one separate intersection separated from the outside reality. And I hope I explained this. This is Bob's portal. That's his real self. That's his virtual self. That's his virtual self. And Alice's portal. She is inverted to her virtual self, brought down into his virtual self, and she's brought back up, and so her virtual self overlaps her real self, and his virtual self overlaps his real self, and goes back and forth and back and forth. Infinite recursion of these mirror worlds, which I believe somehow, when you have the right substance that makes up the outer skin of the portal and the interior of each interface, somehow fractal, cellular automaton like or something, or origami like, nano scale origami like skin, then these mirror worlds, through some sort of topological transformation, will become one complete reality outside, completely cut off from our reality. Our reality outside, completely cut off from its reality, ideal reality inside. And so I think I covered a lot on here. And this is the basic of making space disappear, which visually, but if you thought tangibly, or you would also be making physical, material reality disappear within the space. Well, thanks a lot.